Hold it. Breathe. All right.
I'm touching all.
You're getting it right there. Yeah. Oh my God.
Deana decided a few months back that she wanted to do a little women's reunion for the ladies that were at the women's conventions for the 19 years. We all came and got together and marked for life in Orlando. It was a really wonderful time in tattooing. We decided that it'd been a long time and maybe we wanted to get together. So we invited a lot of people. The ones that did show up are the ones that are supposed to be here. So it made it that much more special. So what I have going on here is for a week long. We have different activities going on. We've been interviewing a lot because it's important to learn the history and to preserve the history of the women tattoo artists, not only women, but the men's part of it as well, because we can tell our versions of the stories, which are what we remember. Some of us go back, 30, 40 years? 40 years. I go back with Jackie over 40 years.
I did 50 years, my dear.
Well, maybe
I did my first tattoo in 72, but I didn't do it full time till 76.
She's the elder of us all.
Yes.
I'm probably, you're next?
Yeah, I'm 75.
And I'm 70, almost
Just
one.
For me, I was 70.
She's just now 70, and Liz is our baby.
45.
45. So she came in at the tail end of, like in the middle of our heydays, kind of, and got to witness some of the stuff that we were doing. It was certainly an industry where the misfits could go. But anyway, what we got going on here is an interview with the 5 of us. And just a quickie interview to kind of like introduce who we are, where we got our start and all that stuff. I guess I can start really quick. I started in 1981 from Eric Inksmith in Brunswick, Georgia. I was just getting a tattoo one day. He fell in love with me. I was struggling to make a living and raising a child by myself, and I was really saw it as an opportunity. And I met Deana at the women's show in Orlando. She put it on, started the whole concept.
I met you before that.
Right? Well, she met me before.
96 was the first one.
Mark for life.
I was going to a couple tattoo conventions, and one that I went to decided that to move me from the front to the back because he had a guy that was coming from Australia. And so I was talking to a couple friends and decided that I thought that women should get more recognition or whatever, that I was as important as that guy. And so I said, what do you think if we do this, to a couple people at the bar? Tony Olibas was there. And he said, if you do it, I'll come. And I said, okay, I guess I'm going to do it. And Tony came down and stayed at our house for a week, the first show. Mm-hmm. I had met Philadelphia Eddie when I was 18. I didn't have a diploma. I quit school when I was 16. I was working in Jazzland and the Bowery Club up on Court Street. And Eddie opened a tattoo shop, and he brought Luz Cabreras in to tattoo for him. And that's when I met Lou and Michelle. And then you couldn't tattoo at that time. I couldn't go into the tattoo shop. I used to just get guys that wanted tattoos and bring them to them, and they would tattoo them. So after a year or so of doing that, I used to sneak in and stand behind him and watch him tattoo, and Louie was my really good friend. I started watching Eddie.
Wasn't he the one that brought me to meet you, Louie? Did we connect through Louie?
Yes, we did, when I went up to Fayetteville.
Yep, when we went up to Fayetteville. Oh my God.
I was in Fayetteville, and he brought me up to work in Tramp Shop. Yeah. And I went up and I was working in Tramp Shop, and Louie called me and said, put everything away, turn off the sign, and they're going to come and talk to you and say you're the cleaning lady, and come down and talk to me. So I put all my stuff away and turned off the sign and went down. They knocked on the door, and he said, what are you doing here? I said, oh, I'm just the cleaning lady. I'm cleaning the building up. And he said, okay, and he left, and I went down and I talked to Lou, and Lou said, well, you're supposed to have this $100 license to be working in the city limits. It's down in the city limits. So you're really like illegally tattooing. And you need one here too at my shop. But we'll just keep you in the back and do a couple tattoos, make some money, and leave. I was there for a while. And then I decided, I was bootlegging at home, and I decided to open a shop. So I went back up there and took the sterilization sanitation technique course, and I got a 90-something on the paper, and you had to have a doctor down in Florida. So I went around and finally found a doctor by showing him all my equipment out of my trunk and telling him how to use it, and my certificate and my bloodborne pathogen card. So I took that in case, and I got the multimedia card back then. So if I rescued somebody from passing out, they couldn't sue me. And you got the doctor to sign a letter, and I got somebody to rent a building, and I went down and I got a loan for $2,000, and I opened up my tattoo shop. Louis gave me 50 sheets of flash that I didn't know it was outlines that he had whited out the names of all the artists. And so I made a copy of everything, colored one, and kept one for a line drawing, and I hung them up on the wall, stapled them up there, and that's what I opened my shop with.
Amazing. Yeah, he was something else.
First time I went to Sturgis, I had those sheets of flash, and Jack Rudy approached me and he said, "Oh, yeah, I kind of like this stuff. Where'd you get that at? There's no name on it." I said, "Well, my good friend Louis Cabrera gave it to me." And he said, "Well, do you know that's my stuff?" And I said, "No, I had no idea, but it's some of my favorite stuff. I do a lot of it." And he said, "You know, you're supposed to be buying original sheets from me."
That's how that all originated.
And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'll buy it from you from here on in. But I'm not throwing this away because it's my favorite stuff to do." So when I went home, I put it on the boards myself. I put my own copy of Jack Rudy Flash up on the wall. I said, "Jack Rudy Flash by Deana."
Yeah, that's what happened. Remember that back in the day, with people were starting to hand copy other people's stuff.
And that was in 1984.
Yeah. We didn't have no.
My first convention was in 1986 at Grandpa Groovy's in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Grandpa Groovy. Yeah.
That's
Because he was national in Grandpa Groovy. Grandpa Groovy did the first one in Richmond. And then after that, Ace did it in Richmond with John Barry. And then after that is when Billy Easton came in and started doing it. And then kept it from there on out. When I did my show, though, I promoted it too. I sent press passes to every magazine. I had Mary Claire magazine from England that came and covered the show. I had German magazines that covered it. They covered it all over international. Casey Exton came to my show and said he got so many wonderful pictures of tattoos. He started tattoos by women, tattoos for women, tattoos for men. He started the convention issues. We have 5 issues on the Marked for Life Tattoo Convention, plus the $40,000 we donated to the Shriners Hospital. So we have quite a bit of recognition just through that.
Yeah.
And that's what started all this. There you go.
I know a good tattoo when I see one. I'd seen so many bad ones. So when I saw his work, I just fell in love with it, and I wanted him to do a whole side piece. And then I took it to New Orleans to the National Convention and won Best Tattoo Female in '86. Yeah, 1986. And anyway, so back to the Deana's convention, when we had the booth there, me and Nolan's wife.
Nolan was the judge.
Don was also the judge, but he and Moses were our gophers.
And they dressed up like women. They were the first drag guys.
They were so funny with the wigs and everything else. I got some crazy pictures of them. But what a good time we had. What a great time we had.
The pajama party, the elevator gang.
Yep. I apprenticed with Gil Monty. After that, I have to say that probably nobody would even know who I was today had it not been for the tattoo magazines. That was our internet back in the day. And they went everywhere, and from winning that Best Tattoo Female, my picture was all over the damn place, and it was wonderful. I had such a good time doing things like that. And then my ex-husband wanted to apprentice with Gil, And I just put my foot down and said, no way. He's taken both of us. So I was the only woman that Gil ever really apprenticed officially. So that was kind of cool. And yeah, it was cool, but it wasn't easy. Yeah, but I do owe so many of the guys back then. You know, everybody would stop in the shop, and you get a little tip from this guy or that guy. Gil opened it, and then I bought it from Gil with my ex-husband, and I gave my ex-husband the house, and I took the shop, so I was the second owner. Then Bill Hannon I took as a partner. Bill sold it to Isabel, and Isabel still has the shop today.
We all knew each other back then.
Absolutely.
So, it wasn't anybody, you could say, Mike Malone, Al Tuttle, Paul Rogers.
We all
Everybody
went to
knew who we
dinner.
were talking about. We
Yeah.
all would go to dinner. We all knew each other. It was a very small
Family
group
rooms.
Right.
of people all over the United States, but it was a small knit because the
was.
conventions were only one a year or every 3 years. We would all get
Yeah.
together, so we all knew who was who. Yeah, and so
Everyone
those-
came from everywhere.
Right, so we'd put a little booklet together, and that's how I knew where to find people.
Exactly.
Right.
The tattoo directory book.
The tattoo directory.
Right.
Yeah.
We had that back then.
I have all the copies of them.
So good. It was
Yeah,
so good.
it was a good time, and it was a small knit. And I used to tell people, used to talk for art departments at some of the universities. I had a slideshow presentation called Memories, History, and Tattoo Tales. I did that a bunch of places, and part of that was about an apprenticeship and how important an apprenticeship was. And, it's like the first thing I would ask when people came in was, who did you apprentice with? And if they didn't have the right answer, they didn't get a job.
Right.
And it's so important, because if you teach yourself, it's a long haul. You got a lot of bad habits. If you learn from somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, they're not going to teach you right. So it was a lot easier to learn properly and not have to break all your bad habits. So
It was.
that was like, apprenticeships were a big deal.
And you had to work.
And you had, yeah.
We really had to work it.
We did. We had to do everything. And Miss Jacci Gresham here.
The reason that I think I got into tattooing and stayed in it is women were so abused in this industry. Talking about the clientele, because the girl would want a tattoo on her wrist, but they'd make them take their shirts off.
Right.
Stuff like that. And I came from up north, and we just didn't do that up north.
Didn't do it down south either, girl.
Well, they did it in New Orleans.
Well, they didn't.
Tattoo their butt,
It
they
was
put the
frowned-
ointment
it
in the
was frowned
crack.
upon,
And they
It
take
should've
it out of the
been
crack of
frowned
your
upon.
butt, take your shirt off.
Get something on your wrist, take your pants off.
Yeah,
Right.
stuff like that happened. And so that's how I really got into it. And I think my big claim to fame is I put more color in the tattoos. When I do a rose, I'd use 4 or 5 colors, not just red and green, So it made it more artistic. It made more people want to get a tattoo also. And that's the goal, wasn't it? But my other claim to fame is I used to decorate my building, and I put a tattooed Santa Claus up there. I'd do a skull and ghosts flying around with tattoos, all kind of crazy stuff.
But what got you into it in the first place, Jackie? When did you get your first tattoo?
Oh, I got my first tattoo in '79 by Ed Hardy. But I was tattooing 2 or 3 years before that. Didn't have a tattoo. Wasn't interested in tattoo. I worked for General Motors. People at General Motors didn't wear tattoos.
No, they didn't.
You know what I mean? But I found once I got a tattoo, I did better tattoos. I think people who tattoo should have a tattoo. And there's plenty of people who tattoo excellent that don't have a tattoo.
Right.
But I'm not training anybody that if they're ashamed of having tattoos, then you shouldn't be putting them on. That's how I feel about it. And by Ed Hardy, I went to the best of the business at the time, and I just got a little tattoo. And back then they were doing one-liners.
Who trained you?
Ajit Singh trained me, a guy from England trained me,
Okay.
who was taught by Ron Ackers over in
there
Portsmouth,
you go.
England.
That's an
And he
area.
hated tattoos, but he had a degree in commercial art and stuff like that.
I met Ron Acker
You know,
at the convention. Remember, he used to come over from England.
Right, right. And back then, like you said, there was only one tattoo a year, maybe two, but now you might have in a weekend 3 or 4 tattoos, am I right? And so you can't really go to all of them. You know?
No, there are conventions everywhere now.
Everywhere, 3 on a weekend.
Everywhere.
And look at how many of our elders are gone. We've lost
The elders
the
are
past
gone,
2
so the
years.
stories are disappearing.
Yeah,
So these
and
stories
nothing's
that
documented.
we still have about these guys, thank God.
Yeah.
And most of these guys we've talked about are gone.
Yeah.
If not, we're losing them right as we speak. We just lost one. We're losing Ed Hardy's in the nursing home. I just found out from
they
Jackie.
told me.
Dennis
you
is
know,
doing bad too. I
Dennis
heard.
died.
Oh, did he?
He
last
passed
night,
away
Oh, really?
Last
while
night.
we were here.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Oh, I'm
goodness.
so sorry.
Yeah, Dennis Starr passed away while we were here. And it's just like we, these are our elders, our historians.
Our heroes.
Our heroes. And the
Yeah.
ones that, the men that helped also, the ones that believed in us and saw what we could do for the industry and appreciated us and brought it to a different level, kind of a lighter level.
But
Loved
don't you
us,
think?
right? These guys
let's
loved
say
us.
this,
Louis and
They
Eddie,
did, but
they
in
loved us.
relationship, if you could tattoo and was a better artist than your counterpart, they weren't happy. They were not happy.
Yeah.
Because I was
about
married to
Dennis.
Dan
He looked through my photo
Cunningham
album
for
one
90
day.
days. You know what I mean? And I see so many relationships that just fail when the women really excelled. And you did too.
I did too.
You were one of them.
All of us, we don't have a style. We had to know all the styles.
Yes, I was very specifically trained not to have a style, not to be pigeonholed.
Let Liz, jump in there and tell how when you
Thank
jumped.
you so much. And I was begging my mom to let me get a tattoo. Actually, I didn't want her to let me get a tattoo. I wanted her to get me the Huck Spalding tattoo kit that came with the sterilizer because it was in the ad in the back of the magazine. And she was horrified that I asked. And she's like, "No, Lizzie, no." I was like, "Well, then let me get a tattoo." And she's like, No. When you're 16, we'll do it. I was like, "Okay." And then I didn't say a damn word about it until my 16th birthday. I woke up that morning and I was like, "Okay, let's go." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I was just like, "You said when I'm 16 I can go get a tattoo, so let's go." And she was just like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you forgot about that. Like I could. Like I didn't wake up every single day going, when I'm 16, I'm gonna get a tattoo for 3 solid years. Yeah.
Did she take you?
In North Carolina, you have to be 18. And to quote Piercer Steve from Smoking Guns Tattoo, when she asked if she could sign a release form for me, he said, "I don't care if you're Jesus, we're not giving your daughter a tattoo." And I respect that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
You had to wait till you were 18.
I had to wait till I was 18.
Oh.
That's a little sticky. I did end up getting an apprenticeship before I got tattooed
Okay.
with an artist who was tattooing out of his house. I was so excited about the opportunity, and I didn't really know anything about the industry. I didn't know people. I didn't know what people are capable of at that time. So it was a little hairy and not great. Went through some things. Had to bounce when I was accused of stealing guns. That was actually like the line where I felt like I was in danger and I needed to go. And then that person ended up working at Tattoo World, Bill Clayton's Tattoo World in Fayetteville. And then that's when I turned 18, and that's when my mom bought me a gift certificate to Bill Clayton's Tattoo World.
Oh no.
That dude ended up doing, not that dude, but his roommate, who accused me of stealing his guns, tattooed my lower back. And that was my first tattoo. Yeah, it was great. My legs fell asleep, and when I stood up on the stool, I fell over and hit my head on the counter, and all cool points were gone.
God.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was a great time. Great time.
Everybody's first memories always nice. Right? Yeah.
But it did not deter me. I wanted to tattoo. I felt compelled to be there. It was like there wasn't anything else that I wanted to do. I did, after getting tattooed, I did kind of go, all right, these people are not not for me, and I thought maybe all the people were like that, and so I thought maybe I should pivot. So I started going back. I went to college and I got a degree in graphic design and advertising. And the week of my graduation, I was actually offered my second apprenticeship at Smoke and Guns Tattoo under Gator, who learned under David Strickland, who was married to Kim Strickland, who came to this show, which is how I ended up coming to this show. Because,
What year was that?
I started coming to the show officially January 2006.
I think the
That's kinda
women
fun.
are actually making the industry excel even more.
Well, they did. That's why
The guys
you
got
know.
jealous because we brought the talent into it.
Yeah.
You know, because they weren't talented.
Well, now there's so
They
many.
did crappy, blurry tattoos,
Yeah.
and we brought the talent into it.
Shapes are important to us. Fashion, design, like Jackie said. Jackie brought fashion, and so did Peggy to the industry. That's what attracted me, that women could still look beautiful and elegant with tattoos. I started seeing pictures of like Cindy Ray, some beautiful women with like Julie Moon, and they were posing in these beautiful poses, and the Japanese women that I was seeing the calendars, and I was like, oh my God, that is just so lovely.
Yeah.
You know, to have that, wear that on your body like that, you know. It was so attractive back then. We didn't have front desk people back then.
They didn't have front girls before us.
They didn't have any front desk people.
But you know, that was another thing that we brought to the table, was we were a little bit better at interior decoration sometimes, you know. The tattoo artist, the customer, everybody in the room, they were all smoking cigarettes, and the place was like a smoky den, you know. And
Coated in yellow.
yeah, the flash
Flash
was
designs were
Yeah.
yellow. A lot of stuff was yellow back then.
Absolutely
Yeah.
was.
Okay, so our first tattoo story, I drew up our first tattoo that we got, a matching tattoo. It's the two baby skeletons in a heart,
Aw, okay.
and we both have it.
That is so sweet.
The spine is fucked up on hers. That's what she gets
So it makes
because
it unique.
yeah, that's what she gets because she when we first got them, we didn't get them together. She got hers first, and she got it without me. And I've already had this
Young and an asshole.
Yeah, I've already had this idea set in my head that like as soon as I turned 18, I was gonna get tattooed, and I was gonna get a lot of tattoos.
It was gonna happen, yeah.
It was gonna happen. But anyway, so she goes and she gets her fucking tattoo first, and she comes back and she's like, "Oh, Brittany, it hurt too much. I couldn't do it." And I was like, "For real? No."
So you did that on purpose?
Yeah.
And then you started after that. Did you just start getting more after that too? Or did
Oh
you
yeah,
start
I was hooked.
Both of you just went like,
We went, yeah.
all right. So,
'Cause
and you started in Fayetteville?
We started in Okeechobee, Florida.
Oh, wow.
Interesting
Okay.
start.
Florida girls. How'd you end up in Fayetteville?
So basically, we had family here over in Fayetteville.
Yeah, we have an aunt that lives in Fayetteville.
Okay.
Well, father, he wasn't there to raise us or anything. We didn't really know anything of him. And he's just like, he reaches out to us for like the first time ever, and we'd always kind of craved a relationship with him and everything. And he's like, yeah, I have a tattoo shop and I can teach you girls to tattoo, and it can be this family business and this whole thing. And you know, he was like, I always wanted to be there for you girls when
What's his
you were
name?
growing. Brian Brewer.
So you went to live with him?
Basically, yeah. We
old were you?
like didn't know very much
How
about
old were
him.
you then?
Like 20, around 20.
20, no, because it was after I was 21. I think I was like 22.
22 or somewhere around there.
And what did your mom do? Was she supportive of that, or was she freaking out? or what?
She knew more about him than we did, so she was terrified for us to go.
She wasn't happy. It was one of those things where we were gonna do what we were gonna do, you know, and she just kind of tried to talk us out of it a little bit, you know, and so doing that, I'm always really careful about telling people that. It's just like, yeah, that's how I got my start, was my dad, because I don't want them to get the assumption that it was easy.
Exactly.
It was pretty tough. It was pretty tough. We learned a lot of things. It was, you know, kind of inappropriate. You know,
It ended up being kind of one of those situations where like you're, it's like emotionally traumatizing. Like it ended up being a massive disappointment. Yeah.
But you both had each other, right?
we had each other. And it was one of those things where we
Always had each other.
It was kind of one of those things too, where it was just kind of like, I think our stance was going to be it's both of us or none of us. It's honestly such a blessing to be born a twin. It's such a blessing.
I can't even imagine.
I don't think I'd be alive without her.
Well, I mean, not even on a creative standpoint, it's just like who you are, your muchness is so much of what we pour into our creativity, and I think that being a twin has developed that in me. It's like loving yourself, looking in a mirror.
Both radiate that so much, and I think that in the end ultimately is what's brought you to this where you're at now with Liz and everything. You talk about looking for your tribe. You know anything about quantum physics, and I think that's what's happening is we're kind of like the higher vibrational people are finding their tribes where they need to be, you know. So I think it's interesting that you guys have had this with each other, and then you both went together, supported each other, did that big step, and now how is it with Liz?
Oh my gosh. It's cool.
Such a hard ass. No, I'm just kidding. I always have this joke with her that like the bar is super low. Brandy and I have worked at 3 different shops, and each one of them, no shop's perfect, but each one of them there was some disagreeable characters, let's say.
Well, sure.
Jackie, did you hear that? Disagreeable characters in a tattoo shop. Hey, did you hear that? How's it going for you now? You built a nice clientele?
Yes, honestly, like a really nice clientele. Everybody that I like the commission where I like working with people to create that design that they want, because just for the sentimentality of it, and then like also I get really kick-ass designs that I wouldn't have thought of myself. That's my favorite part about being like our Breathless arts. We like, you can hear everybody in the rooms just like belly laughing,
it should
singing.
be like therapy.
Yeah.
You know, you are opening up their stuff with their chi, with your sticking needles in. It's almost like acupuncture. Mm-hmm. You know, like what kind of, like you as a healer, Peg, what kind of information are you putting into these people? You know, it's also very important.
Yeah,
you know? So thank you guys for being here a lot, and I want to tell everybody where you tattoo at. Liz's shop. Tell them about that a little bit.
Breathless Arts
Tattoo
in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yep.
on Owen Drive.
I plan on going to see these two myself in Liz's shop. I think thanks for being so appreciative and so beautiful and so ballsy, and bringing in such positive energy into this industry, because we sure do need it. We don't need any more monkey see, monkey do's. We need some individual, authentic thinking women, and, you know, people who are speaking from their hearts and put out, you know, positive stuff out there and try to help and assist whoever we can, right?
Yeah,
It's a time when
absolutely.
We're all being called in.
Yeah.
We're all being called in. All the magic women are being called in.
It's medicine.
It is
It's medicine.
Powerful medicine. And we're so blessed to be a part of it. So thank you guys for showing up for Deana, okay? I really love that.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's
for
a
having
pleasure
us.
and an honor
so
to be
much.
here.